So these are what you're telling me are the raised beds, right?
These are my raised beds.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't had much time this season because I have a newborn to
Yes.
do my prep, but this is where I put my vegetables. I'm really excited because I'm going to have some miripiri from Zim to put in this
Yes.
bed this year. I'm waiting for Tandue, Chef Angela, to bring over the seedlings, but you can see my perennials have started to come back. So this is sage. Smells amazing. I don't think anything's here yet. Might be cilantro. That's slow.
And what is this?
This is grass.
Oh, that's grass.
Oh, no. These are onions.
Oh, that's onion. I thought so.
Yeah, these are onions. These are chives. This is a very hardy plant. You don't have to do anything and this plant will come back. This is cilantro. And I'm anticipating a little bit more cilantro because this whole thing should be cilantro coming up.
All right.
So we live in, I think it's a zone 8. It gets very cold over the winter. And
of
somehow,
course. That's why I ran away.
Yeah. I wish I could run away. Somehow these plants come back on their own. So that's why I love them. So sometimes I'll put flowers or I'll put edible plants in these containers. These are from my lovely neighbor, Miss Rebecca. And I have over here as well my strawberries and tomatoes in this one.
Yes.
So a little bit of everything edible. And
then you have another raised bed out
across the way
there in the yard.
Yep, in the sun.
All right, in the sun.
Yep.
Yeah, it has full sun over there.
Yep. So I want the soil to be rich. I'll use potting soil sometimes. You can see I have a bag here, but my preference is to use the soil that I've created with our food scraps, because the worms, it's called black gold because the soil that they create is so rich in nutrients. It doesn't burn the plants. It's saving waste, diverting waste from our plants. It's just a good way to be a steward for the environment.
That sounds
and
perfect.
It's a fun hobby.
And you can not have the excuse that I don't have a garden, I cannot plant anything, because you can use raised beds like you're doing.
Yep.
And you can also have good soil because you're composting all your food scraps.
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
So the township that I'm in actually has started a really cool program, a food waste program. And so they give us this in the kitchen, and you can see you can compost so many things that you would just throw in the trash that end up in the landfills. So fruits and vegetables, dairy products, meat and bones, bread and grains, eggshells, coffee, filters, grease, napkins, paper towels, and BPI certified products. So if you have a barbecue and you have utensils and plates that are certified compostable, you can put them in this. You can
and
see,
you say this is coming from the city?
This is coming from Canton Township. It's a new program that we're part of.
That is beautiful.
And then so you take, your food scraps and you take them to a drop-off point, and then once the composting is ready, so a couple of times in the season, you drive to pickup points, and they have the compost ready for you.
So you can actually get it for free.
You can get it for free because we're investing
you're
the
one
time
who's
to
doing
compost
it.
So you can see that this is far more extensive. This is dairy products, meat, and bones. In my own home composting,
the one you're going to show me today.
Yes, the one I'm going to show you. I do not recommend putting all of these animal attractants, I'll call them.
Yes.
Because one, it'll smell really bad, and two, it
attracts rodents.
It attracts rodents, and since I have a way to do all of the other composting in this, I only use vegetable scraps, vegetable and fruit scraps from my own home composting.
Wonderful.
So I'm going to show you how I start it every season.
Just to comment that, again, it reinforces the fact that it doesn't matter what climate condition you have, you make a plan to be able to get yourself some food which is really healthy by making sure you're starting with good soil.
Yep, the quality of the soil, in my opinion, impacts the quality of the the fruit or the vegetable or the herb or whatever it is that you're growing.
Yes.
The quality of the soil makes a big difference in the quality of the food, because unfortunately, with how food is produced these days on a mass scale, I swear I eat a banana and it tastes just like an apple. Like nothing tastes the way that it should.
Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with farming practices and not being able to return to the soil what we're taking out. So for me, this is a way to return to the soil what has been taken out and make our foods richer.
So you fully understand why Gogo wants to go back to her own little garden and do what she knows she tries to do.
I cannot wait to be able to do that because then I won't have to do this hybrid.
All right, so tell us about this setup.
So the first part of I call it the worm hotel, where the worms live, is my little worm hotel, and I'll show you that in a second, is you have to have the bedding for the worms.
Yes.
And so I get these. So this is a coconut brick. So it's basically, it's organic and it's coconut fiber. And what I do is just open up the brick.
You can actually tell us where you get it.
Amazon.
This is from Amazon, and
it's probably about 10 or 12 bucks. And I find I only need about 3 of these a season. So I'll start, I'll show you the process to start 3 of them, and then the worms do all the rest. The worms and the fruit and the vegetable waste, food waste, does all the rest. So you take the brick and you put it into a container. This is how I do it. And you fill it with water. Basically, will expand the brick, and you just kind of let it sit for a while for it to absorb the water. And it expands and kind of fluffs up as it absorbs the water. And then you'll see I'll transfer it into this floor of the worm hotel. And one thing that I wanted to show you here is I'll fill this with the coir, the brick, once it's ready. But you can see it has holes in the bottom here, and this is where the worms move from floor to floor in the tower. And you can put food in certain parts of the tower as you're ready to harvest the soil that they produce. But I'll show you that in a moment.
Okay. So tell us what you're doing right there.
I am trying to speed up the process of the brick falling apart.
So normally you just leave it and it disintegrates on its own?
Normally I just pour water in there and forget about it, and then it slowly absorbs the water, and you can see this is what it'll look like in a little bit.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I'm just scraping the top layers off just to speed up the soaking process. So we can see what it looks like in the worm hotel.
All right. Oh.
You really do not have to do this.
You're just doing it for time's sake.
Yeah, because I want to show you the worm hotel, but you see it's falling apart as it absorbs the water.
Yeah.
So it's a growing medium. And it's compressed. And the idea is that it's a natural medium for the worms, or bedding for the worms to start. It kind of mimics soil. You add the worms to it and you add the food to it, and they grow. Here it is, where you can see what it looks like as it's fallen apart. Get my hands in there. See the texture.
Oh wow.
So we're in the kitchen now, and just a quick demo of basically how I harvest the food for the worms as I'm food prepping just day to day. So today I'm working with the hugest popo I've ever seen. Papaya.
Yeah, it's huge.
Hopefully it's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut up some lime too, and a little salt, little lime, little salt, to give it a little tang.
For the worms?
No, for us. But for the worms, the worms get the peel.
Oh, they get the peels.
Yeah.
Okay, very good to clarify.
This is, to me,
because the worms will be killed by the salt, right?
Right. No. You don't want to add salt.
Okay, no salt for the worms.
No.
For the compost.
No. The peeled popo with a little fresh squeezed lime and a little salt, dash of salt, is for the people.
For the people to eat.
Yes. the
The
petals,
scrapes, these ones here.
but they love these.
Yeah.
They will devour. So you get to learn the things that the worms like. I know this sounds so weird, but they love soft fruit like this. They love lettuce. They don't love avocado, which is weird. The skin of
it's
avocado,
hard.
it'll stay in the compost thing for
It'll never be eaten
for like a month, whereas this will be gone in 2 weeks or less. So the softer, easier to digest, I guess. Yeah. So this to me is a perfect illustration of a complete system, right? There's no waste.
There's no waste.
There's no waste. We're getting the fruit part. Ta-da!
Can I taste?
Yeah. Hopefully it's sweet. What do you think?
It's good.
Surprising for such a huge.
I was doubting. I'll have
Normally,
the second piece.
when they get so big, they lose the flavor.
They lose the flavor.
But instead it was an organic pawpaw, so you have to believe. Okay, so
good.
Not diverting anything to landfill, because that's going in my compost, and that's going for the people.
So no waste.
Zero waste. Even the seeds. So you can see, I can put that in the compost.
Be composted.
You do have to be careful because some plants have such a will to live. I'll open the compost and I'll see they've started to sprout in the compost thing.
Oh.
So you have to open it every few days and like stir it and see what's growing in there, plant-wise. It's usually tomatoes. I find tomatoes
are just stubborn, huh?
Yeah, they'll grow in anything. So if I put like tomatoes in there, I'll usually check to just make sure that there's no tomatoes growing in my compost. But yeah, see, so we're creating a perfect closed system here where there's zero waste, and that really resonates with me.
Yeah, I like the idea. So where do you get your worms?
So there is a company that I really like called Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. It's online, and you order, I think they come in batches of 500 worms. A little bit freaky when you get them because the worms are in a black bag. I think I ordered my first batch, I ordered 500 and then I ordered another 500 as I was kind of titrating and calibrating how to keep them alive, basically. You don't really need to do much. The worms are very efficient. They're very skinny when you get them. They're called red wrigglers, which Uncle Jim on his website says is one of the most efficient producers in terms of worms. They will mow through a pile of food scraps in no time. So they're very efficient, and they're very hardy. So we live in Michigan, and the temperatures go down to minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Minus 40?
Even colder, yep. So they are hardy.
Yeah.
They will withstand that cold winter. So in the winter, what I do is I transfer them from outside, which you'll see. Once it's a little too cold, maybe I don't have to do this, but I like to do this to make sure that I keep my worms alive. year by year.
Yeah.
But they don't need much. All they need is food. In the summertime, they will double, triple in number. It's warm.
And they can thrive better.
They can thrive
and
better.
And reproduce faster.
Absolutely. So once you've bought your worms, if you're able to keep them alive, they will keep themselves alive, keep reproducing for years. So I first started doing this, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. And since that first time that I bought the 2 bags of 500 worms, I have not bought any worms.
Oh, wow.
And they keep coming back every year. They keep reproducing. I actually had to buy extra towers in the worm hotel.
Because there were too many.
Because I had too many in the 2 levels that it came with, so I had to buy 4 levels. So in the height of summer, I'm making a lot of compost.
Yeah.
From my worms.
Yeah. All right.
So in the winter, I overwinter them, meaning I literally stop feeding them like around October, and then once it's warm enough, I start feeding them again, and they just go dormant.
Oh, they go dormant.
Yes.
But they will have some medium in there to keep them alive.
Yeah, I make sure I give them one good feed, and then over the winter, I just keep them in the garage, and they survive the 3-4 months of a harsh winter.
Yeah.
Very hardy worms.
Yeah, the winters
red wrigglers.
The winters here are harsh. I wonder what sort of worms that I would have to get. I'll have to experiment when I get home and see if I can start my own worm farm.
It's so easy. It's enjoyable. I find it enjoyable. It's environmentally friendly.
It is.
It's it's organic. You know what's going into your soil. You can amend the soil that you have on your property, amend it to make it more nutritious, just literally with
food
scraps that would go to a landfill,
yeah,
and spend thousands of years in a plastic bag. You're putting them back into the earth to reinvigorate the earth, and also reinvigorate yourself, because you're going to eat that.
Yeah, and remember, we talk about it, you are what you eat. If you're going to amend your soil with things that you have ingested, we are eating this papaya, we are eating the lime, and whatever else that we consume, and then we feed the worms that will give us the soil where we are going to plant the food that we will eat.
Tomatoes, our strawberries, our herbs.
Circle.
It is a circle.
Yeah, beautiful circle. So,
and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Look at that.
Look at our salt.
Look at that. It's breaking down. Almost all of it has now absorbed the water, and we should be ready to go feed the worms. All right, so that's the perfect mix.
Yep, so here's our bed of coconut coir that's absorbed the water, and you can see it's perfect bedding now. So we have our bedding, we have our hotel floor, and we have our compost material, food waste material. And we're gonna go to the hotel.
Let's go to the hotel.
The worm hotel.
It's a worm hotel. They live in a luxurious hotel.
So this is my little setup here, and it has a cover. Oh, you can even still see I told you they don't love.
Oh, there's the avocado. It's still sitting there.
Yeah.
They didn't even touch it.
And now, one thing I want to show you. So this is the coconut coir, right? You can see it's this light brown color. Once the worms start eating, look at this rich soil.
Oh, they are the worms.
There they are. Here's my red wrigglers. Yeah. And right now there's not that many of them, but over the summer, by the time some of them are in here too, eating.
Ooh, look at that.
That's a fat one.
Big one.
By the time the summer, by the time it gets warmer, I'll go like this, and there'll just be a clump of worms. So this is the first floor, or I guess third floor. And I showed you earlier how there's holes in here. In the green one. It's harder to see them here, but there's the same holes.
Yes.
And it's for the worms to travel from floor to floor for the food, depending on where you put the food. Okay, so that's this floor.
Oh, look at that. That's second floor.
I must have been eating a lot of avocado.
Yes. Ooh, look at that. Ooh.
I know, it's kind of freaky. If you're somebody who gets icked out easily, probably
you won't want to look at this.
Vermiculture is not for you. But this is real. I mean, this is
good.
Nature's system for recycling.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect system. Because, you know, they're the low men on the totem pole, but they do a lot of heavy lifting, these worms. And all of the food waste becomes this, what they call liquid gold. Or not liquid gold.
It is liquid gold. Worms gold or liquid gold.
Because it's so rich in all the nutrients.
Yeah. Wow.
Not liquid gold, black gold.
Black gold, yes.
Yeah, and you can see the change in color.
Yeah, it's different from when you start. And this is when the worms have worked on the food.
Yep, they've pooped out.
Build up the good soil.
Yep.
Amazing.
And then this is what goes in the raised bed.
There's
another layer.
Number 3. Look at that.
Yeah,
wow.
So they kind of congregate around the food source. All right, so you can see there was a big clump right there.
Yep.
All right, so what will happen is when I put in the new layer, right,
they will come up.
They'll come up or down or wherever I put it. So I think for this one, I probably will put it on the bottom.
On the bottom.
So this layer, there's no worms in it. This is just where the water comes out, and this is the little drain hole, because obviously it's a biological system and there's going to be water waste. And it drips into this level and out through this spigot right here. And you can adjust it somewhere on the bottom there.
Or the adjust the spigot.
Yeah, so if you want to open it all the way, you can. I usually have it all the way so it can just drip passively. But sometimes, like if it's gonna be dry and I want to retain some of that water,
you close it a little bit.
Close it, and then it keeps the system more moisture in the system. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to transfer our coir into the next level of the hotel. Like this.
So that's going to be the floor.
And you can see it's a very clever system. It has grooves here. So you always know which way it's gonna go. That. Put the bedding down. As much of it as possible. I try not to put too much in one layer, because ideally you want to cover it a little bit. So I actually will keep half of it for the next.
And you just cover it a little bit.
Yeah, just kind of so it's not fully exposed, and then they can find it. Trust me, they'll find it. Sometimes I'll spike some worms in here. Like I said, normally I have gloves on, so don't be grossed out.
Well, it's food. It's what we eat.
So I'm just spiking a few of the worms in here just
to start the process.
Yeah. Like I said, if you have a high ick factor, this is probably not the hobby for you.
But if you're someone who works in the garden,
yeah,
this is nothing.
Or if you go fishing, it's the same.
Fishing, yeah.
I don't know. For me, this is less icky than putting a worm on a fishing pole, fishing hook. Yeah. So these are the lucky ones that are getting first dibs on
on the food.
Oh, they're gonna go crazy.
They will go crazy.
If we open this up in a week.
Yeah, we're gonna check it out.
All right. So then you just put the hotel back, and all the other worms that are in these upper layers,
they will
migrating to
where the fresh food is.
And then that means you can just take out the the soil that they leave.
Or they'll leave the soil and then you can use
soil,
it.
and that way you keep the worms in the system. The black gold that they've manufactured for me, and I can use this in the garden.
Ah, perfect. We'll be coming back to check the migration of this of the worms to where we've put the food. So check in a week or two.
A week.
All right. So this is 2 weeks later, and we're checking how the worm hotel is looking, right? To see what the worms have done with the food that we put in there. So let's have a look. Ooh, the soil looks so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, there's a runaway
worm.
Oh,
There's a runaway worm. Okay.
Oh, there's something growing in there.
Oh, there's something growing, like you said. Yeah. I wonder if it's a tomato.
Maybe, because tomatoes are so hardy.
Yeah.
There's something else.
There's another one growing there. Oh, wow. They're
So
loving
in that
the
case,
soil.
I just,
Just take them off.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they become part of the compost.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, the avocado. Yeah, you're right. They don't seem to
Takes them
devour
longer.
that real quick.
Takes them longer to devour the avocados. Where the
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah. So now compare this soil to when this is the trade that we started with the coconut coir.
Oh, so this is our tray. Look at how many there are in there.
So they reproduce like crazy and they eat like crazy.
Yes, they came for the food.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of worms in there, and they are big.
And most of the food is gone.
Yeah, most of that food is gone.
And all that's left is the worm
Good soil.
poop.
All right.
Castings.
Castings. Beautiful soil.
Yeah. So today we'll add more food and keep going.
All right.
When you compost with worms, you're transforming your food waste into some of the most nutritious material that you can use in an organic garden. The worms, what they poop is called worm castings. And those worm castings are 7 times richer in phosphates, 5 times richer in nitrogen, 11 times richer in potash. So these are all elements, good elements of soil. So they're richer in all of those elements than the average soil.
Wow.
Yeah, this is from the food that we put in last week.
Wow.
See how much they've... It's all gone. And you can see the worms are getting bigger and juicier and more.
Yep. So composting is a great way of enriching one's soil, and it should be encouraged with every household, because we all have food waste.
Yeah.
So instead of just throwing it into the trash, you can actually use it and enrich your soil.
And that compost that comes out of this doesn't burn your plants.
It doesn't burn the plants.
It doesn't burn your plants because it's natural.
It is natural, and it doesn't harm the plants. That's
Yeah.
great. That's good news.
Yeah, so you're decreasing food waste, you're decreasing the need for fertilizers which harm the soil and harm your plants and harm the environment, and you're increasing your organic production right in your own home.
Beautiful. I love the lesson. Thank you so much.